All right, Sitting Alone in the Moonlight. This is a great one for double stops, almost through and through the whole solo. It starts off with these double stops in the key of A. Now these are the double stops that I have in my essential Bluegrass double stops resources. So I encourage you to check those out. These are all directly from that closed position double stop. So that's how we're actually starting here with an E note and a C sharp note. The easiest way to tune that is to tune the E note first to your open A and then find the C sharp. It's a tricky one to get both in tune, so that's how I would do that. C sharp and E to start, then to E and open A, then to A and C sharp. Alright, after that, that's the sort of kickoff. We're going to go to this double stop, but since the next chord is A flat, we're not going to play it here where it's easy. We're actually going to shift. So it's the same two notes, C sharp and E, but because we're going to a C natural and E flat next, I go up in position here. This is pretty high in position. You're searching for those same notes here. And this is definitely a shift you'll have to practice quite a bit. It's an impressive one if you really nail it. So practicing that one is a good thing to do here. Again, I mentioned that we're going to go down a half step, so we're just going to bring both of those notes down a little bit here. All right, and that brings us to C and E flat, and we're going back to the same notes we started on. And then after we hit those C sharp and E notes, we're going to come down to the A and the C sharp. So that's a tough shift as well. We're going into, you could go to first position if you want. I'm here in, I believe, looks like second position. Either way, you need that A and C sharp note. That's one of the tougher shifts as well. So we have that shift right there. I'm also adding this one note here. That's just one note above the first finger on the A string. I believe that would be an F sharp note. And we're resolving to an E and an A, again from that essential Bluegrass double stops resource there. That's the toughest part, I believe, of this. Then we're going to this beautiful iteration of the A7 chord. We're adding the 7th here, which is the G natural. We're also adding a B note, which is the 9th. Bobby Hicks uses that sound a lot. It's a really beautiful, tasteful sound. And that's in another, actually part 2 of the essential Bluegrass double stops. It's that patterns of 7th and 9th, and also the 5th and the 7th together. It's a really commonly used double stop, more advanced. So anyway, in this moment here, we're trying to travel to a D chord, and we're doing that by going to this A7. So I'm climbing up the D string while droning the A. And then while having that G note down, I'm going to go to a C sharp on the A string, and then down to a B note. That gives us that 7th and 9th together. And then actually I resolve that for just a moment. Before we go to the D chord, I resolve that down to get a G and an A, a nice crunch. And now we're going to the D chord, which is an F sharp and an A at the same time. And again, this is the same pattern of those essential Bluegrass double stops that I have in that other resource. This is F sharp and A going to A and D, which is the next closed position double stop. Often when he goes to this, he shifts. You could play that with a 3rd finger and a 4th finger. but often he shifts to get a little bit of that schmaltz. So I encourage you to try that as well. After that shift, we're going back to first position F. That's F sharp and E. We're going to slide up to the C sharp note. It's a pretty clean C sharp. If you want to make it more bluesy, you could make it a C natural. Or somewhere in between. That's up to you. He does play a pretty straight, clean C sharp there. Great lick here, going from an E note with a fourth finger, and then a C sharp followed by a C, and then an open A. F sharp, and resolving to an A note. Which you can do open A or fourth finger. So that's great lick. That sound in general, good on any string. Often neglected is the slide down, where we're often sliding upwards into notes from, for example, from a C natural to a C sharp. But equally useful is sliding from a C sharp to a C natural, or a G sharp to a G on the E string, F sharp on the F on the D string, or B to B flat in the key of G. So I encourage you to transpose that. You can even start on different fingers. Let's see, you could do an F. Just a great one to transpose. In the key of E with the first finger as well. So anyway, let's go on here. We have what we just learned is going to repeat twice, but the last phrase is different both times. The first one borrows more from the A blues scale. So the resolution here is that's the first one, whereas the second one is a little bit more borrowed from the pentatonic scale, or some people call it the major blues scale. We'll talk about that when we get there. Right now we have the first one, which is a little bit more borrowed from the minor blues scale. We're going to go G, F sharp, E to the D note. And then almost a C sharp, a little bit of a slide into that note. So all together from the phrase before, we have it's a quick little lick there. Again, a good one to transpose. All good licks for any key. I encourage you to transpose those. Now the second half, like I mentioned, is the same as the first, but it doesn't start with this C sharp and E. It picks up with the E and the A note. And then we have that same difficult shift up there. So be careful there. Same. So that's all the same, and at the end, instead of doing this twice, he borrows from that major blues scale. Again, that major blues scale, that was fairly new to me. It's a good concept to know. That's the A, it's basically a pentatonic scale. Except you have that additional flat third note. It's a great one to know across your instrument in all the keys. That's referred to sometimes as the major blues scale. It's referred to that because it shares the same notes with the minor blues scale. If you started on C sharp, for example, F sharp. F sharp is the relative minor of A. Some of you may be familiar with that. And the F sharp minor blues scale, the blues scale we're more familiar with, is that sound. Well, if you start on A, same set of notes is actually a major sound. That major blues scale is often used in bluegrass music, and a lot of times switching between the minor and the major blues is key to adding some variety and also coloring phrases. If you have a song that's more about heartbreak or loss, you can hint more at the minor blues scale, and if it's more upbeat, you can use the major blues scale again. So I encourage you to learn that major blues scale. In all the keys. And it may be an easier challenge for you, instead of thinking I have to learn all the keys, is first of all only pick the bluegrass keys. So you can skip A flat, D flat, you can skip G flat or F sharp. E flat's not a super common one, so you could skip that one. And you could also, a lot of them repeat. So one way I like to think about it is just learning these scales starting on either an open string, a first finger, a second finger, third finger, or a fourth finger. And if you learn those, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 patterns, you'll have pretty much all the iterations of scales just starting in different places. So hope you enjoyed this one. Again, check out those Essential Double Stops series. There are some PDFs and some resources and some videos regarding a lot of the double stops that we're going over in this one. And having those in your repertoire and all the sorts of keys will really help you come up with your own breaks as well and play some more tasteful backup. All right, thanks for watching.